Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Jaya Radha Madhava Radhe Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Gauranitai Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Gaur Premanande Jayam Vishnupad Paramamsa Parirajakara Stotra Sata Srimad Divine Grace Abhay Charanavinde Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parirajakara Stotra Sata Srimad Divine Grace Srila Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Hidai Gaur Premanande All glories assembled devotees All glories assembled devotees All glories Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories Srila Prabhupada Ki. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nastaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. Hare Krishna. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, General History, Chapter 6, The Yadus Dynasty retires to Prabhasa. Text 19. Please repeat after me. Vibhastavam kathod vibhastrilokayan padan veja sarita salamani hantum anusvaram shrutibhir anangijam angasangyas tetadvayam suchisadasta upraviprapsha vibhastavam katho vidhastrilokayan padan veja srathis pralimani hantum anusvaram shrutibhirangijam angasangas tritha dvijam suchisadasta upaprashantiyai vibhastavam katho vibhas trilokayan padan veja saritham salimani hantum anusvaram shrutibhir sangajam angasangas tridvayam suchisadastata upaprashyanti. Please chant. Vibhavaya tavamrita kathot vibhastrilokya padan veja sarita salimani hantum anusvaram shrutibhir nijam rangasangais tritavayam suchisadasta upashyanti. Vibhavastavamrita kathodyastriyokaya padani vande jasarita salmani hantum anusvaram shrutibhirangijam jam sangis titadvayam suchisadastava uparshapshanti. Vibhavaya stavamrita kathota vivastrilokyan padan vajeja sarita salimani hantum anusvaram shrutibhirangijam angasangais Tirthanadvayam Shanti. Thank you very much. Word to word meaning Vibhavasa are able. Tava your Amrita nectarian. Katha of the topics. Udhavaha the water bearing rivers. Trilokayan of the three worlds, Padanve from the bathing of your lotus feet, Jam born, Saritha river, Samalani all contamination. Hantum, to destroy. Anuswaram, consisting of process of hearing from a bona fide authority. Surabhitim, with ears. Angirjam, consisting of the holy river generated from your lotus feet. Angasangahi, by direct physical contact. Titadvyam, these two kinds of holy places. Suchi Sada, those who are striving for purification. Te, your Upaprasyanti, they approach to associate with. Translation and purport by disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation: the nectar-bearing rivers of discussion about you, and also the holy rivers generating from the bathing of your lotus feet, are able to destroy all contamination within the three worlds. Those who are striving for purification associate with the holy narration of your glories by hearing them with their ears, and they associate with the holy rivers flowing from your lotus feet by physically bathing in them. Purport: Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur states as Anuswaram Gurur Ucharanam Anusvate. One should hear about Krishna by hearing from the spiritual master. The bona fide spiritual master describes the pastimes, potencies, and incarnations of the personality of Godhead to his disciples. If the spiritual master is a bona fide and if the disciple is sincere and obedient, then the communication between Guru and disciple is just like a nectar. Both for Guru and disciple, ordinary persons cannot even imagine the special pleasure experienced by the devotees of the Lord. Such a nectarian speaking and hearing destroy all contamination within the heart of a conditioned soul. The primary contamination being the desire to live without serving Krishna. The other nectar described here is Charanamrita, the nectarian water that bathed the Lord's feet. Lord Vamandeva bathed his own lotus foot by kicking the hole in the universal covering so that the sacred Ganges water washed his toes and fell into the universe. The Yamuna river also washed Krishna's lotus feet when the Lord appeared on this planet 5,000 years ago. Krishna sported daily with his boyfriends and girlfriends in the Yamuna river, and consequently the river is also Charanamrita. One should therefore try to take bath in the Ganges or Yamuna. Every morning in ISKCON temples, the lotus feet of the deity of Krishna are bathed, and water thus sanctified is also called Charanamrita, the nectar of Krishna's lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada taught his disciples and followers to come before the deities each morning and drink 3 drops of Charanamrita from the deity's bathing. In all these ways, one can purify his heart and relish spiritual bliss. When one is fixed on the platform of spiritual bliss, then one does not take another birth in the material world. In this verse, the word Suchi Sadha is significant. One must engage in the purified activities of Krishna consciousness. One must learn to serve the Lord from the bona fide spiritual master, whose instructions one should accept without speculations. Those who are attached to the panspermia of this world sometimes concoct their own whimsical concepts of God, but only from the bona fide spiritual master can we get a perfect and pure knowledge about the Supreme Personality of Godhead and devotional service to Him. Such knowledge may be found in all the books of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Prabhakadamayam Sadati Supadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Utapadakamalam Sri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagridatam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaganarita Sri Vishakamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhasya Kripa Sindhubhaya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna. Demigods continuing their glorification of Lord Krishna. So in that context, they are glorifying particularly about the lotus feet of the Lord, and today's text is particularly part of it is they are glorifying the power of hearing from a bona fide representative, and the second part is glorifying of Charanamrita, and the third part is about the how one can get purification. We know this material world full of contamination. So we'll discuss about the power of hearing of Krishna Katha. Here in this purport, the bona fide spiritual master describes the pastimes, potencies and incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to his disciple. If you see in the Srimad Bhagavatam, from beginning from the first canto, there are various personalities. They meet to certain elevated devotees, elevated sages. They have conversation. They never met again. Just like when Vyasadeva was disappointed, he was not happy by writing all the Upanishads, Vedas, in everything. So Narad Muni appears and he gives instructions and disappears. After that, he doesn't follow up. And next thing, when Dhruva Maharaj was going to the forest for tapasya, Narad Muni appears, gives instruction, disappears. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, when Parikshit Maharaj, he left everything. When he came to know that he was being cursed by Brahmana boy, he left everything and he went to Ganges. There Sukadeva Goswami comes and do the needful instructions, and former Srimad Bhagavatam disappears. And in the fourth canto, he also Vidura meets Rishis, and he also got instructions and he leaves. And about the a Brahmana lesson, who's learning lessons from 12 places, 12 things, that he was also learn lesson from his spiritual master, Avadut Brahmana. He learns lessons and leaves. So here we got an opportunity that by the mercy of our spiritual master and A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, by his mercy, we can hear our spiritual master's narrations describing all pastimes and incarnation of Supreme Personality of Godhead. every day we can hear, correct? Like in the mercy of internet. So here, but what is happening is that the power of hearing is so attractive even to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. I'll tell one story. It's happened really. In South India, how many have been to Sri Rangam? Almost everywhere. So in South India, there was many years ago, there was a procession. Every day there is a festival. Like Lord goes out and sometimes he goes in elephant, sometimes he goes in horse, and he goes everywhere. Like he's just one pradakshina, one parikrama every day. So one time what happened, there was one sannyasi near the Chandrabhaga river, where you know the pastime, Ramanujacharya, after taking prasadam, he just washed his hands and few fishes got it and they've got 4 hands. They got liberated. So in that area, one saintly person, sannyasi, he was discussing the pastimes of the Lord, Ranganath Swami. So while he was discussing with his disciples, there are many disciples and other members, they were interestingly hearing. And suddenly, there was a procession of Lord Ranganath was arriving. Because whenever the procession is going on, there will be a mridanga, kartal, and people glorify. Just like we Ratha Yatra, we just will not go simply by, silently chanting. We just we loudly chant with the speakers and everything. Whenever that is a custom, that is a culture, whenever there is a Lord procession is happening, in front of that, there will be a glories of the Lord singing, devotees. So, when this sannyasi, this devotee heard that, there is now Lord Ranganath procession is going on, he is going to come here because he is doing parikrama. Now we have to stop this Krishna Katha. Because that's a culture, whenever the Lord procession is going, we have to stop whatever we are doing and get up from that place and offer obeisances, then offer respects to that procession. So, then the sannyasi spoke like this, now the procession is coming, we have to stop this Krishna Katha. Then they all got up and they offer obeisances and do the needful. And after that, when Ranganath deity went inside the altar, then that deity used to talk with pujaris those days. And deity called the head pujari or pujari who is in charge of this procession. He told that, so my procession is disturbing this Krishna Katha, this sannyasi is saying. So I don't want to go on this procession whenever this Krishna Katha is happening. Let their Krishna Katha happen in the temple itself. And let the devotees come and sit here. And let there be Krishna Katha on this day. Even this today date, there is a one day which Lord Ranganath will not go in procession outside. They will sit in the temple, they will hear the glories of the Lord. So that is the power of, even it attracts Krishna, it attracts Lord to hear. And in the same temple, there was another devotee who is glorifying the Lord. When you take darshan, come out of the temple, you see pillars. Usually temples are made of pillars. The one particular pillar was slightly, curved. The devotee who resides there is explaining, when Krishna Katha was going on, such an pastimes were describing, Lord himself came out of the temple, like out of his altar, and he sat. When he sat on that, taking the help of the pillar, when he sat, that pillar itself melted. Even today, you can see that particular pillar, right when you come out of the temple, you just see that pillar is little bit slant. Usually pillar are perfectly squared, matched, but that particular pillar is slightly slant. So, this is the power of hearing Krishna Katha. That's why we are hearing Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. Because what is needed for Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya? Because it is said that speaking and hearing this Krishna Katha destroy all contamination within the heart of a conditioned soul. Primary contamination being begin the desire to live without serving Krishna. That is the starting point. So first of all we should understand the nature of this material world. The nature of material world, whatever we get in the material world, it gets contamination over time period. It fructifies. English is such a word, fructifies. It gets contamination. Just like, for example, rainwater. When it is coming from the sky, it is so pure, so fresh. As soon as it touches the floor or ground, it gets contamination. And things are gradually getting contamination. But what is the duty of a soul, conditioned soul? To constantly keep checking on our contamination. Just like we bring the fruits, vegetables, if we keep it outside, just for example, you don't do anything, just keep apple outside for a few days. What, it gets rotten. Nobody is touching it, nobody is doing anything it. Not rats are eating. It gets contamination. Because the nature of this material world is constantly get everything contaminations. So we have to be very, very careful to not to get contamination of this material world. So that's why we have the Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, devotional service, purification process. So this process helps us to not to get contamination. So conditioned soul's heart is always contaminated. And the first thing is that not serving Krishna. So we have elaborate arrangements in our material world to keep the things safe and pure. Correct? Just like we get we get the groceries, fruits, vegetables. Why we keep in the cooler? Why we have some arrangements? Because not only we, in markets, fresh farms, everybody, when we buy the stuff, fruits, vegetables, it gets contamination. That's why they are making elaborate arrangements for the things to get preserved, and they have preservatives not to get contamination, because the nature of the material world is to get contaminated eventually, slowly and gradually. So we have to, as a devotees of the Lord, we have to constantly, minute by minute, it gets contamination. Even though you see this, those who do transfer service, they may relate that brass thing, Charanamrit, where that gets nobody uses that. Nobody gets contaminated. Nobody puts mud on that, or nobody gets into outside. If we keep it like that, over a time period, it gets contaminated. So that's why Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, what it does is that this beautiful nectarian pastimes of the Lord, can destroy all the contamination within the heart. That's why Krishna consciousness process is purifying heart. When you purify heart, then automatically you are meant to serve Krishna, and you can able to nourish the pastimes of Krishna, and you can able to appreciate, and you can able to churn your mind. That's why these pastimes, these things are so attractive even to the Lord Himself. They are just like here, example is given. A bona fide spiritual master, when come in contact with, when he is narrating pastimes, incarnation of Supreme Lord to his disciple, and disciple is also sincere and seriousness, then they can enjoy this nectarian pastime. Matchitta mat gata pranam bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. So when we tushyanti cha ramanti cha, how we can churn the pastimes? When we feel nectarian. When it is not nectarian, we cannot churn something. We can artificially do something for churning, but at the same time, we are sincere. Anything, any story, it will become nectarian. It is just like we all know Ramayana, we all know Mahabharata, we all know Srimad Bhagavatam, we all know Krishna Katha. It is that devotees who are highly elevated and saintly persons, why they feel nectarian? It is the same pastime as a conditioned soul, as ordinary living entity. Why they are not feeling nectarian? Because the hint is here, even though it is the same pastime, they are able to churn the nectar, because that's why they are able to churn the nectar, because they are constantly remembrance of the Lord. They are constantly hearing the glories of the Lord. They are constantly remembering, and they are constantly able to appreciating. Because when they are constantly hearing and glories of the Lord, then automatically they can appreciate any pastime, anything. Of course, one may say that, oh, we have so many other things to do, and how we can constantly hear. Yes, and that is true. We have to do our material duties. As a householder, as a businessman, we have to do our household duties. But any duty which you are doing, think that Lord is a doer. That's why it's called 3 doers. In the Bhagavad Gita chapter, it says 3 doers. So we are not the only doer. The Lord is involved, sanctions, and so soul's desires and material nature provides. So this is, if we have this formula in the mind, then we will never get contaminated by thinking we are the doer. That's why Bhagavad Gita also says, Prakriti kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatam kartaham iti manyate. The moment we think that we are doing, then we get contamination, we get entangled. See, Arjuna was not fighting because one thing is that he thinks that I am the doer. That's why Krishna removes that illusion from that. When we think that Krishna is a doer, Krishna has given energy to do these things. Krishna has given intelligence to talk like this. Krishna has given strength to do this. Then automatically Krishna, we are remembering Krishna, and at the same time we are able to nourish. For example, we think that I am doing this, I am doing that. Okay. Then, for example, we can say, initially when we are beginning in the Krishna consciousness, and we now there's a lot of differences. Like, when we initially check up the Krishna consciousness, we feel everything is ecstatic, holy name, chanting, prasadam, kirtan, Krishna katha. But eventually what it gets to contamination. And eventually what we are happening is that we get loses taste. We are pulling and pushing ourselves, doing, dragging. What is happening is that, we think that, I will chant my rounds, I will do these things. Then Krishna will say, okay, you think you are a doer? Now you do this. Then that's time. See, Monday, however, the consciousness, whatever the consciousness is on Monday, it will be not there on Tuesday. Whatever the consciousness is there on Tuesday, it will not there on Wednesday. The Monday, the Bhakti is like full. After hearing Sunday feast lectures and taking prasadam, kirtan, Monday is energetic, and Tuesday goes down, and by the weekend bhakti also end. Like that. Well, every day we can. It's not that nobody has to give certificate today your chanting is good or not. We can check by ourselves, check and balance. Monday, how is my chanting? Tuesday, how is my chanting? And whether while chanting I'm remembering Krishna, or while mantra, or planning my day. So, but Arjuna fighting the war is bhakti. Correct? Arjuna was not fighting because he has so much reasons to say. For him, he's not chanting in the battlefield, okay, 16 rounds, let me complete 16 rounds and release the arrow. No, he's not doing that. For him, as a Kshatriya, as a Varnashrama system, for the fighting is a devotional service. Whereas people in general, when they start devotional service, when they go into puja room, altar room, doing deity worship, doing these things, itself become a war with the mind. While chanting, we got struggle thing. So, to remove that contamination, we have to constantly remember the Lord. That's why smartavya satatam Vishnu vismartavya na jatachit. So always remember Krishna. So all the rules and regulations are guided by this. So this is the power of hearing. And there are many glories of power of hearing. In the 6th canto, even Yamaraj tell to his Yamadutas, in his ear there to his Yamadutas. What he says, don't go to the persons who are, I'll just read with for you. My dear servants, please do not approach such devotees, for they have fully surrendered to the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are equal to everyone, and their narrations are sung by the demigods and inhabitation of Siddhaloka. Please do not even go near by them. They are always protected by the club of Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore Lord Brahma and I, even the time factor, are not competent to chastise them. And when Yamaduta is going to the earthly planet to bring the conditioned souls, he will tell them, where are you going, boss? Please don't approach these people. Careful with them. He just gave a caution in his ears. Don't go them directly. Lest who are absorbed in Krishna Katha, who are absorbed in chanting the glories of the Lord, holy name, who are surrendered themselves to the lotus feet of the Lord. And there are many things. So their absorption is different degrees for each level, each person, and also absorption of hearing is also different degrees. Just like we hear that Anakadundubi pastime, who has become ghost. Dundukari. Yeah, Dundukari, who become a ghost because of his past deeds, misactivities. And you know that story? There's that just summarize in a very short, So Dundukari's story. So he has his brother. So his brother is very pious, and Brahmana is doing all the rules and regulations, pakka, and everything is a pure devotee of the Lord. Then he heard that his brother has become a ghost, Then he went to all the places to do Shraddha Karma offerings. He went to even Prayas, Prayas, those places, Haridwar, Rishikesh, those are powerful places, Kashi. If you do that Pinda Pradhan there, then wherever your forefathers are there, they'll get liberation. So even after doing that such things, his brother is not getting liberated from ghostly body. His brother became a ghost after left his body because of so much contamination, so much sinful activities which have done. So what happens? Then his brother was wondering, I did all the things necessarily, and I went to even Kashi, Haridwar, Rishikesh. There I have offered Badrinath, Pinda Pradhan. Why my brother is still in ghostly body? Then somebody saintly person told that you start Bhagavatam every day. So I think 7 days, right? 7 days. And in the 7 days, what is that power of hearing is that the ghost went to the bamboo, and each day when Bhagavatam class completes, that hole gets open up. There are 7 holes, just like a flute. Flute has 6 holes, but it has 7 holes, that bamboo. When each day gets Bhagavatam class was over, it went tap, tap, tap. And in that Bhagavatam class, everybody were sitting. And finally, all the Bhagavatam Saptah is over, and that ghostly body, his brother got liberation. And everybody is stuck with wonder. Oh my God, we are also hearing. And how come we didn't get liberated? His brother in the ghostly body, still he is hearing. He got liberation. Then there comes that, absorption is needed. The hearing process, absorption is needed. That's what it is said. When you chant, you hear. Srila Prabhupada always says, whatever you're chanting, Hare Krishna mantra, you hear. Then there is no question of mind. So that's a process of hearing. So second part of the purport is explained the Charanamrita nectarian bath of the lotus feet of the Lord. All the pujaris, everybody, yourself, you do every day Abhishekam, and it's distributed as Charanamrit. Charanamrit, when somebody drinks, it's a most purifying process. And also there in the nectar of devotion, one of the process is take Charanamrit, correct? So when we are taking Charanamrit, you are, sometimes the devotee says when you are sick, when your health is not good, at least take Charanamrit. So when you take Charanamrit, it gets purification. So one time what happened, Srila Prabhupada's disciple, one of the Mataji disciple, she put salt instead of sugar. And Prabhupada tasted, why it is so sugary? Prabhupada asked. And Prabhupada, when her answer was, oh Prabhupada, I was absorbed in ecstasy, chanting. I didn't know what I am doing. Then Prabhupada chastised her. Absorption doesn't mean that you are unconscious of your surroundings. You are conscious of your surroundings, and at the same time you are conscious of what you are doing. That is absorption. It's not that in absorption I do whatever and nobody should say anything. No, that's not absorption, that's not ecstasy. Even in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu pastime Chaitanya Charitamrita, when Murari Gupta was describing, and suddenly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took avatar of incarnation of Varahadev. He lifted one, a pot of water, mud water, and thinking that this is a globe, earth. And he lifted on he became Varaha incarnation. In that ecstasy also, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told, even if somebody is doing Vaishnava Parad, even if it happened to my own son, I will not leave them. Correct? So, even in his ecstasy, he was conscious. So, why I am pointing is that the ecstasy doesn't mean that you forget your surroundings, you forget your things, what you are doing, you forget that's not ecstasy, that's madness. One time Srila Prabhupada was giving Krishna Katha, one person got up and saying that, I am the Krishna. No, when he was not giving class, when Srila Prabhupada in his quarters, and suddenly one person came, crazy guy, he was chanting, oh, I am the Krishna, why are you worshipping there? I am here, I can dance in ecstasy, he was saying that. Then few disciples went to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, somebody came here, he's saying he's Krishna and he's doing these things. Then Prabhupada told, immediately get the hot water and put on him. If he's getting sensation, why you're putting, if he's getting aware of this, then that means he's not in ecstasy. If he is really in ecstasy, he will be not aware of that, whether it's hot water or cold water. So that's the test. So the point is hearing that when an absorption is there, automatically you'll pay attention to each details. As we say here, every morning in the temples, the Lord's lotus feet of the deities of Krishna were bathed, and the water thus sanctified his called Charanamrita, the nectarian lotus feet. Srila Prabhupada taught his disciples and followers come before deities each morning and drink 3 drops of Charanamrita. So that's why everything in the Krishna consciousness, everything you have to do with knowledge. Not just doing for sake of doing, not just doing blindly doing. But if you think that, at least remember this, taking Charanamrita, it purifies my heart. There is a one mantra, I'm not remembering now. Akala Mrityu Haranam Sarva Papa Nasanam. There's a one mantra when you are taking, especially in South India, when you go there, pujaris, when they chant this mantra. What is that meaning is that sudden death, something inauspicious will not happen when you take Charanamrita. So that's the thing. So at least when you remember just taking 3 drops of Charanamrita, which is bath Krishna's deities, then it will purify my consciousness. So all this process, why we are doing, the only thing is purification. Even Krishna Consciousness movement is there for purification. International Society for Krishna Consciousness is there for purifying. But material world, International Society for Contamination Consciousness. The whole universe, whole world, whole material world is contamination. So one must learn from a bona fide spiritual master whose instructions are very powerful and bona fide. Such instruction may be found in Srila Prabhupada books. One may say, okay, so why only Srila Prabhupada is so merciful? Why not others? Why only we are glorifying? If people get a question, why only Prabhupada? Why only you are emphasizing Prabhupada is a pure devotee? Why only he is merciful? Is Madhvacharya is not powerful? Is Madhvacharya not so merciful? Ramanacharya are not merciful? Is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is not merciful? Or Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj is not merciful? Why only Prabhupada is merciful? Yes, Prabhupada is merciful. Because when you want to understand Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur purport, you should read Prabhupada books. When you want to understand Madhvacharya's or Ramanacharya's instructions purport, you should read Prabhupada books. This is the basis. This is why I am glorifying is because here it says, such knowledge may be found in all the books of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. See, even if you want to read other commentaries, no, there is nothing harm. We are not commenting, don't read those books, don't read this Goswami's books, those books. But we are not saying that. We are saying that first thing is base is Prabhupada books. If you want to understand Acharya's books, read Prabhupada books. When you read Prabhupada books, then you can able to understand. That's why Srila Prabhupada is so merciful. When you understand Srila Prabhupada's mercy, then at that, you will really appreciate from the heart. Srila Prabhupada was spent a sleepless night for writing transcription of translating these books. At least when we are awake, Srila Prabhupada is not asking to you also spend sleepless night to read these books. At least when you are awake, try to spend half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours reading Srila Prabhupada books. Then only you understand Krishna consciousness. To be in Krishna consciousness, you should be in Prabhupada consciousness. Prabhupada is always Krishna consciousness. What is Prabhupada's heart is? Reading, when you read his books, you will understand what is there in Prabhupada's heart. How we can serve this movement. One time in GBC college, there was one question asked, what if organization closed? What if happened so much, everything closes off, there is nothing. Even everything is closes off, all the arrangements are being closes, and even somewhere in the corner, one person has a Prabhupada book, he can start this movement again. So that is the power of Srila Prabhupada books. So when you read Prabhupada books, then you can understand all the knowledges, all the Acharya's purports, all the Goswami's purport. But when you don't read, then that's why Srila Prabhupada is so merciful. Okay, sorry, already 8:20. Any questions, comments? Okay, thank you very much. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande.